Let's dive into a story that starts in darkness and, trust me, ends with a question that's going to stick with you. It's all about how fear can be used as a weapon, how belief can be twisted into something monstrous, and whether some evils can ever really be erased. This is the story of Moloch. I want you to picture a village so quiet you can actually hear your own heartbeat. A place where the sound of children laughing is just a distant memory. This is where our story is set, and it all starts with this one deeply unsettling question. I mean, this isn't a peaceful silence. It's heavy. It's full of dread. And this is the rule that hangs over everything. It's a chilling tradition, right? A terrible price the villagers have to pay to some mysterious power. This single sentence is the absolute heart of the village's fear. It's not just a belief, it's a law, and it's enforced by pure terror.
So, we're stepping into this village alongside an outsider, and together we start to peel back the layers of a secret that is so much darker than any simple superstition. A secret kept not just by one person, but by an entire community held completely captive by it.
All right, so meet Rakesh. He's our guy. He's a man of logic, of rules, sent from the city on what he thinks is just a routine job. He's here to file a report, not to fight monsters. He has absolutely no idea what he's about to walk into. These are the first red flags that Rakesh picks up on. The first weird pieces of the puzzle. The school enrollment numbers, sure, that's an official problem on paper. But it's the other stuff that really sets off the alarm bells. That silence, the total absence of kids, the village head who's sweating bullets, and that strange, strict curfew. All of it just screams that something is terribly, terribly wrong. Okay, so to really get what's going on in this village, we first have to understand its god. Or maybe more accurately, what they believe is a god. This belief right here is the key to everything. Yeah, this is no benevolent, gentle spirit. This is Moloch. The description alone is pure nightmare fuel. A monstrous hybrid creature with a literal furnace for a stomach. This is the being the villagers are convinced holds their lives, their crops, their very health in its hands. And here's the absolutely twisted logic they're forced to live by. It's this cruel, messed up deal. To get any blessings, they have to pay the ultimate price. And if they don't, well, then comes unimaginable suffering. It's a perfect system of control, built entirely on fear. But then you hear this desperate cry from a mother that just makes the horror so personal. It's the voice of pure human love fighting back against something inhuman. She is willing to face whatever Moloch throws at her. Drought, sickness, anything, rather than give up her child. But in a village this terrified, her voice just isn't enough. Okay, so Rakesh's investigation really kicks into gear now. He's not just some government official looking at numbers anymore. He's basically a detective in a living nightmare, and the clues are only getting darker.
So, remember why Rakesh is even here? On paper, it's so simple. Find out why kids aren't going to school. But the real answer is something no government report could ever contain. The kids aren't just skipping school, they're gone.
This moment, wow, it will just send a shiver down your spine. Rakesh stumbles upon the few kids who are left, and this is what they're playing. A game that's a direct copy of the village's darkest ritual. It just goes to show you how deeply this horror has seeped into the fabric of their lives, all the way down to their children's playtime. And this is where things get really freaky. The horror isn't just around Rakesh anymore, it's getting inside him. After the village head drugs him, he has this vivid, terrifying dream of the Moloch statue. Now, he's never actually seen it, but there it is, in his subconscious. It suggests the evil in this place isn't just a story, it's an influence that can poison you from the inside out.
And here we go. This is the big turning point. Everything Rakesh has been suspecting is about to come to a head as he confronts the man at the absolute center of it all. The village priest, Agoram, the architect of all this fear.
And then, the confession. In this moment of pure, blinding arrogance, Agoram just reveals the whole truth. All that suffering that plagued the village, the very foundation of their fear and their sacrifices, it was never divine. It was all him.
So let's break this down, because the sheer evil here is just staggering. Agoram isn't a priest serving some god. He's a sorcerer feeding a demon. He's the one who manufactured the droughts and the plagues, all to create the need for sacrifice. And for what? Not for the village, but for himself. He was harvesting the souls of innocent children to gain power and, get this, to ultimately live forever.
Now the villagers overhear this confession, and they finally learn the horrifying truth. And let me tell you, decades of fear don't just disappear. They curdle. They turn into a storm of absolute fury. The village is finally waking up.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It is night and day. For generations, they thought they were appeasing some terrible god just to survive. But the reality? They were being played, manipulated by a monstrous man, feeding his demonic ambition with the lives of their own children.
And then one voice cuts through the crowd. An old man. This one quote just captures decades of hidden pain and loss, all suddenly bursting out into the open. It's the voice of every parent, every grandparent who is forced to give up a child. Their grief turns into a demand for justice, a justice as brutal as the crimes he committed.
And that's exactly what they do. The very tool of his deception, that furnace in the idol's belly, becomes the instruments of their vengeance. The sorcerer is consumed by the very fire that he created.
So, with Aghram gone, it feels like a new day. Children are playing in the streets again. Rakesh leaves, his job apparently done. It really feels like the nightmare is finally over. But the story isn't quite finished yet. For a while, the village did have peace. But some evils, they have a way of leaving seeds behind. So, we jump forward 1 year, right back to that same moonless night, back to the cursed ruins where the idol was buried and supposedly forgotten.
Someone is digging, and as the head of that old idol is unearthed, we hear these words. And the speaker? It's none other than Aghram's son, and he has that same cold evil in his eyes. He's come back to finish what his father started.
And this brings us right back to the question that just haunts this entire story. They destroyed the man, sure, but they didn't destroy the idea. They cut down the tree, but they left the root in the ground. So I'll leave you with this thought. Can an evil this profound ever be truly beaten, or does it just lie in wait for a new hand to carry its dark legacy forward?